Today, we're in a teacher conference for Bartlett Kane Academy, and Ms. Patel has gathered the educators and staff together to discuss how can we incorporate different teaching strategies and techniques to help all the students, regardless of their level of low, medium, or high abilities in the classroom, and their diverse backgrounds make it a challenge, but how can we help all of these students learn and progress and end off better than they came into our academy at the beginning of the school year. Now, Ms. Diaz has proposed that we use a track system where the in-class grouping is differentiated by medium, low, and high. Now, this doesn't mean that based on the background of the student and where they are culturally from or where they live in the community, although it might, whether they're put in the low, medium, or high classrooms. Now, that is a convenient way of organizing the students. However, it's more convenient for the teachers rather than the student. Now, why is that? Well, Mr. Yang, one of our kindergarten teachers who has many years of experience, suggests that this is detrimental and outweighs the benefits because the students will not have a outlet to show their uniqueness. If we place students in low, medium, and high brackets with in-classroom grouping, this will hinder them more than it will help them because they won't have any outside perspectives. They'll all be the same in their line of thinking, whether they're all low, medium, or high. They won't get any new insights, and their learning will be stale and possibly stagnant without high rate of growth or growth that is helpful to the student, because they're not just learning ABC, but they're learning ABC as well as other points of views and thinking on this learning topic that we're discussing in the classroom. Now, the constraints, again, as we mentioned, it could hinder the child where they're not learning at the rate that they should be, and their uniqueness doesn't show through. Now, why is that important? Well, every student is unique. The two students that come from the same background and the same culture, that doesn't mean they're both the same. They both have different ways of thinking on a topic, and that needs to be highlighted to show diversity and be inclusive in the classroom. Now, the benefits, as Mr. Yang mentioned, was that the students can learn at an accelerated rate and learn from their peers. A low rate student can learn more from a high performing student because they get to be in the same classroom as them and hear their point of view and maybe hear it differently than what the teacher is, how the teacher is presenting it. And that does make sense what Ms. Yang is mentioning. However, what Ms. D has proposed makes a lot of sense too. But we have to find a common ground and definitely a case by case differentiation between the students. And why do I say that? Well, say we have a child whose age is different from the other peers in our classroom. Could this hold a factor? Yes, it could, because that student that is younger than their peers in the classroom might need extra instructional support or a full-time aide in the classroom to help with behavior issues. Now, if you have older students, they might not have as much behavior issues and know how to self-regulate. Now, that's really important. Why? Because then the teacher doesn't have to take time to help just one student who's causing a distraction in the classroom. The students are all at a cognitive level where they know what is expected of them. And an aid might be needed, but just for extra support, maybe reading it to them or clarifying something, or just in the classroom, dependent upon the needs of the student's IEP. Now, some ways in which the teachers can help with diverse learning in the classroom and keep students with low, medium, and high tracks intermingled within the same class would be make IEP cheat sheets for students with IEPs. Encourage active learning. Everyone must be participating. Embrace small group and learning stations and mix the students up, not keep them on the same track as low, medium, and high. And provide alternative testing options. Just because a student doesn't have an IEP doesn't mean that they might need additional help. And definitely students with an IEP, you may have to provide additional testing sources so that way they can be up to par with the rest of their peers. Now, these are just some examples and strategies that I would present to Ms. Patel if asked during this faculty meeting on how we can educate our diverse learners here at Bartlett Canyon Academy.